Hello, 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 and welcome to Dear Dana. I am so sorry that I was not here Wednesday night. I had to kind of gather myself back up. I will explain in a minute. I hope I didn't let anybody down, but sometimes you have to just take an off day and get it back together. Hello, Paranormal Witch. So in the meantime, I'll explain in a minute. I'm so happy you're here. We're going to talk about relationships tonight, and are we really ready? It's about recognizing need versus want, and we're going to dive down that hole and figure out what I'm talking about in just a moment. So let me do my intro. Whoa, I'm so happy I am not muted tonight. Hey, JC Bear. Thank you for the hugs. So happy you're here. I hope I am seeing everybody that is here. Hopefully more people will show up. Again, I am so sorry that I was not here Wednesday night. I thought about it. I was going to make myself do it. I was going to force myself to do it, but I just decided it was better not to do it. Having a late dinner, so listening while chomping down. That sounds good. Hey, I like to listen to something or watch television when I am eating often. Yeah, I'm so glad Paranormal Witch is here. Thought you changed your name. Thought you had. Guess I'm confused. I'm just so happy people are showing up. Hopefully more people will show up for this topic. I just had thought about it, and it goes a little deeper than probably the topic says, and we will address that as more people hopefully enter the room. I will talk about not showing up Wednesday night, and people can rewind or watch it later. But I guess some of you, yeah, you know that I have MS. I'm very functional. I can walk and all that good stuff. It affects me in a different way. I have relapsing, remitting MS. Temperatures affect me. Walking too much too far affects me. Illness, just different triggers. But I went to the eye doctor on Tuesday, and I guess I will inform people. Maybe it's a good thing to use my platform also to inform people of MS. There are different forms. It progresses in different times and in different ways. I am at the how do I say it? I'm at the, not the beginning, but the more of the entrance of it. I was able to keep it at bay a lot because I've always been a fitness freak, except during COVID. I let myself get kind of lazy because it depressed me. COVID depressed me, like a lot of people. But for years and years and years, I've been really into fitness, and I did a lot of it so I could still carry my child and, be active with my kids and stuff. So it really helped me. Lady Rose, yeah. So anyway, it was my saving grace. Fitness was my saving grace where that's concerned. Anyway, long story short, I went to an eye specialist on Tuesday. I have to go periodically. A few months ago, I had a relapse, and I should have gone to the ICU and had a steroid drip to help save my vision. But because we are in lockdown, so to speak, what's going on, I didn't go, to my detriment. My optic nerve in my right eye is severely affected. I'm sure it's not noticeable to most people. So my vision in my right eye is like looking through a tunnel. Literally. So when they went to look, and it's a brain thing, that's how they originally found I had it after years and years of misdiagnosis. Um, so anyway, when they looked this time, it looked like um, an electrical wire that had been that had exploded, for lack of better. And so we have a new specialist in our town that I'm going to go see. This is something that cannot be corrected, and I have more damage. They put drops in my eye to dilate my pupils, and my pupils stayed dilated for about 15 hours or more when it shouldn't do that. So, anyway, getting the news that I did get, of course, it affected me. And when it affects you, a myriad of things happen. Stress kind of makes things worse. So here comes Wednesday, and I'm supposed to do the show. And if I'm not in the right frame of mind, I'm not going to come in here and do my show, for lack of a better channel, connect with you guys who I love and adore, and share that kind of energy with you. I'm just not. I don't want to. Because energy, you know how we talk about energy? I want to share energy that's going to be soothing and kind and loving, and that when you walk away from here, that you have gotten some kind of good content, that you've gotten loving and understanding, that you feel better than when you entered. You got what I'm saying? And I didn't want to force something and come in here and it feel janky. And as trying as I might, it just didn't feel good or right, and I didn't feel okay overall. So I just had to make the decision not to. And I feel like that you guys understand. It's rare that something like that would happen. But for you and me and the whole crew, I felt like it was a good and right thing to do. But I love you guys so much. And I was thinking of you as well as myself when I did that, when I made that decision. So here we are tonight, onward and upward, to other conversations. And since it's Saturday night, I had another plan to talk about other things, but like Saturday night, I kind of want to keep it moving and grooving and about topics that aren't quite as heavy. So Wednesday night, we're going to talk about something very interesting, but it might be a little on the darker, lighter side. But tonight is relationships, which we're all interested in. And it's relationships which could be romantic, which could be friends, and how we navigate that. You get me? You get me? See who's anybody else coming in here yet? I don't know. So far, I still see JC Bear and Paranormal Witch. Am I missing something? I don't know. We understand we just want you to be okay. It's okay to take any time or break that you need. Thank you, Paranormal Witch. But I was trying to hide. Hey, Marzi! So glad to see you here. I was trying. Hello, LMS. Nice to see you here, too. For a long time, especially when I was on Up and At, I was trying to hide the fact that I had MS because I didn't want a pity party, because I'm highly functional. Thank you, Marzi. And, but I'm thinking that's probably the wrong thing to do. Maybe I should use the platform to educate people and not be trying to hide it. That's stupid, maybe. I'm not ashamed of it. I mean, it is what it is. And if I can use my background in alternative medicine and working out and doing all that stuff to navigate the world and fight things. Hey, you know what I mean? So, on to relationships. I was thinking about we so easily fall into relationships when we feel like there is chemistry. When we get the butterflies, when we're feeling sexually connected to somebody, maybe, when we look in their eyes, when the passion is there, just for a myriad of reasons. It's usually because of the chemistry or the passion or the lust. Sometimes it's because there are people that are looking for somebody to save them, to get out of certain situations, right? Or maybe we're looking to save somebody. We have to look at those questions in us. Or maybe there's a laundry list of things that we're looking for in a partner. Just don't know. But we really need to look, do we really know what it is that we want in a relationship? Do we really know? To me, it needs to be more of a need. Because if we're looking, I used to think it was a want. But if we're saying, I want this and this and this and this and this, here's what typically happens. We get hot and bothered. There's this passion. There's this chemistry. We're rolling through the storm. It works so great, especially when there's no kids. Because we're doing all these fun things together. We don't have any high responsibilities. Maybe you're not married, don't have all the bills and all that stuff. And maybe you get married. And then a lot of times, all of the things that you found so endearing may not be so endearing anymore. Right? Maybe after you get married, it was all about the passion and chemistry, and you didn't spend enough time really looking at, are you compatible? Are you on the same page about things? Right? Do they support you about what you want for yourself in life? Did you spend too much time trying to do things to make them happy? Listening to their music, doing things with their friends, that kind of thing. I know in the early years, when I would date somebody, I might try, especially when you're younger, try to bend yourself a little bit to do the things that make them happy, because you want to give and take. But sometimes we give too much, right? And you're not looking at the future or what you really want to explore in your life. Or are they going to be supportive of the things that you want to do with your life? Of the things you want to explore with your life? If you're the supportive one and you're cheering them on at everything they want to do, but you're not getting that back, you're going to become resentful. And ultimately, that relationship falls apart. That's why I felt like it was important to bring this up, because I'm looking at the statistics about marriage, and these days, 60% of marriages end in divorce. It's true. About, I'd say 70% of second marriages end in divorce. Third marriages, it's up for a gamble. And those aren't good odds. People really need to be self-aware before they get married or not get married. Let's see what Paranormal Witch says. Ooh, girl, I'm going to have to blow up my screen. You're right. That's how it was with my situation until it had a downfall. We end up not looking at everything when we're trying to figure out if we're compatible. Now, there are times too, like I've had some family members that, and it happens, sometimes people end up in a situation where they get pregnant and they get married because they're pregnant. And nowadays, you're hearing it from me. If you're able to support that child, I'm saying I don't necessarily think it's a good idea to get married just because you're pregnant. I don't. I think people forget about friendship, the friendship part of the relationship. Yeah, absolutely. Because think about it. If you want to go for the long haul in a marriage or a partnership, even if you don't want to get married, but you want it to be a marriage-like partnership, meaning you want to live your life out with this partner, there has to be a friendship there, because at some point, as you get older, you still may want to hug and kiss and be intimate on some level, but maybe you're not doing the hubba anymore, right? You're going to want to have a friendship with them. So in your old age, there is something there. You are bonded on more levels than just sex or something beyond that connection that is just intimacy and paying bills, right? Or one cooks dinner. Hey, AT2! Hey! And one cooks dinner. People had the old roles. My grandparents did. Not so much one set of grandparents. One set of grandparents, my grandmother worked until she couldn't work anymore. She was always very independent. My other set of grandparents, that grandmother took care of the house, took care of the kids, she cooked, she cleaned, till she couldn't anymore. She took care of everybody. And that was the sweetest woman God ever put breath in. And my grandfather was the breadwinner. He had businesses, etc., etc. These days, usually 2 people in the partnership are working. It's fairly rare that only one person is working. True? So it's not the same kind of deal anymore. Might hear a little noise. There's creepers walking through my room right now. So we have to reconfigure and it not be about want so much. Not be just about the passion thing, right? It has to be about the friendship and the need to. Like you both make a list. What does your soul need? What does your soul need? What are your plans for your life? Your goals for your life have to be in that picture too. If you're wanting to tour the world, if you're wanting to explore the world, let's say that you want to be a photographer and you want to explore the world and take pictures and stuff, and your partner's not on board and their vision for their life is not the same, and they can't deal with you taking a tour of the world here and there, you're not on the same page, right? So maybe neither of you are ready for a relationship. These things have to be looked at. You can be so infatuated with a person and feel that passion and love and chemistry, but maybe it's not right. Maybe you're not compatible. So you have to think about, are you setting yourself up for failure? Some people don't care if they're setting themselves up for heartache. They just do it anyway. They just go for it. So that is something that you have to look at before you get into these situations. And I just had that aha moment today. And if people, to me, if people would, I don't want to say look at it as a business. It's not a business. It's about your heart, your emotions, but it's about your life. It's about your life too. If people would be more self-aware and take the time to process things, there would be less divorce. Probably fewer heartbreaks, in my opinion. I'm going to open up the line so we can discuss a few of these things. I've taken some notes here. I've got these glasses. I got to get some more. They're not going to fix everything, but girls got to see. Girls got to see. So let's see what we have going on here. The thoughts and things and questions, maybe. Let's copy it on down. I still got so much to learn about this here StreamYard. I do. Because I'd like to learn how to share and stuff better. I need to practice on my own. But, we have all these things if we studied about a lot of things go on about people don't understand each other's love language for one. They get married, they don't communicate about what this person needs to feel secure in the relationship emotionally and what this person needs. Because what I want to make you understand too, you may look like a grown up, but you're just a child in a grown up suit. It's true. Because you carry all those emotions of a child with you in that grown up body. And you bring it into your relationships. You bring it into your friendships. And sometimes you're attracting friends even to try to work out old emotional wounds that didn't get resolved when you were growing up. It's true. Friends, romances. That's why it's really important to be self-aware. Let's see what that says. I'm too heartbroken, so I don't believe anything what men say anymore. I think it's all BS. Sorry. Well, right now, paranormal, you are heartbroken, but you need time to heal and become more self-aware yourself. It's your life, but I wouldn't recommend that you get in any type of relationship right now. Because as long as you are still heartbroken and thinking about how things went awry with your ex, if he still comes up on short of child support and stuff like that, if you still have feelings of hurt or anger about him that are unresolved, you're not ready for a relationship, in my opinion. I mean, I've been through it, divorced before, and a single mom. And until I felt unbothered or neutral and didn't feel anger, when I no longer felt anger, when I felt like unbothered and didn't care, that's when I knew I'd healed. When I was like, okay, that's when I knew I'd healed. Because, you just kind of don't care one way or the other. You're not really affected anymore as long as they're sending the child support. You're like, okay, whatever. that's when you know you've healed. That's when you know you're ready for a relationship. That anger that you have and that distrust is the pain you're carrying from the relationship. And it doesn't just have to be romance, it can be about friendships too. We have to be aware of the people we attract in our life. They say the 5 people that we are the most connected to are a reflection of ourselves, right? So we need to look at that sometimes, right? And step back and go, okay, if this is a reflection of me in my life, do I like this? If I don't like this, then I need to do some self reflection and do a little work on myself. Because we attract the level, my dad used to say, we attract the level of water. How did he say that? We rise to the level of water that we are, something to that degree. Water rises to its own level. That's what it was. Water rises to its own level. So if you want to be at a better place, you have to rise on up, right? You got to rise on up, which means you have to be self aware and work on yourself all the time. Even when you're in a relationship, you have to work on yourself all the time. Hello, JC Bear. Welcome to the room. Did I bring you up? Yeah.
Yes, I finally you finished. You finished just. You dropped the link just as I was finishing up some din din. So I'm like, okay, I got to get in on this.
Do you see why I felt it was kind of important? I was thinking about this for the last couple of days.
Yeah, I mean, there's some things that you alluded to before that struck home. It's when I think of my parents, like my mom did work on and off until we were old enough, and then went full time working. But when they like on a Saturday night, if they didn't feel like going out, they enjoyed sitting at home and playing cards, cracking open last year's wine, having a couple of drinks, playing cards, and they enjoyed each other with it. I mean, it got a little competitive at times. I'm not saying anything, but it was a common thing that they enjoyed doing with just each other.
Right.
Especially as we got older and kids were out every weekend and so forth. They enjoyed just going for drives together. So, like they had common interests that they shared that they could do as they got older, and like we left the house or were off for education and stuff like that. And I think that's what people don't try to find when they're in that heady dating, you know, lust phase, uh, going out, as a couple together.
Yeah.
And I think there are some things like I used to ask my parents some questions. I go, why were you always very strict with bedtime? And it's like, well, we have you guys all day long and for most of the evening. And then they always save like an hour or two for them to be a couple. Like, and I'm not talking bedroom couple. I'm talking about, sitting down, talking about, what their day was like, uh, what, arguing over, finances like couples do, mortgage, all the other pressures that go on. But they always had that time for each other, not as mom and dad or mom and mom, but as a couple with each other. And I think that's what a lot of people nowadays I'm finding after that lust phase, I don't know if they really like each other.
It's
Like,
scary.
yes, I would love to spend a weekend away with this person. Just, me and him, her and her and him, that type of thing. And I don't think they find that out early enough.
No.
And shouldn't couples be complementing each other in their skill sets. That's how I
Yes.
always looked at it. So, for example, let's say you love painting, but let's say it was like, it's not my gig, but, I shouldn't deny you the access to being able to do and express yourself through painting. But if I'm your other half and I'm like going, well, you spend 2 hours painting and you're not with me, laying on that guilt trip early on, and you decide to, okay, I'm going to put this aside, you're going to have problems later on.
Yeah.
And the same thing, if I'm a gym bunny, but you're like, I don't want to go to the gym 5 days a week, and I'm spending 2 or 3 hours at the gym every night, and only seeing you basically, for an hour when I get home, you're going to feel neglected. You're going to be a gym widow, or
Right.
I'm going to be a painting widow, or vice versa. So I think that's the thing. It's like, if you can't complement each other, like, come to the gym maybe 2 or 3 times a week while I'm there 5, or maybe I take up sculpting while you're doing painting, something to complement each other and not compete with each other in. I think that's where couples over the years, I think, have kind of lost a bit of the way.
I completely agree. I mean, look, Eden right now, she is doing college online. It is only a matter of time before the pandemic stuff has died down and she is in a dorm or an apartment or whatever at university, right? And it's going to be Stephen and I here, which is, it didn't dawn on me till recently. I thought Noah would be here forever, right? So we were so immersed in the kids all of these years that all of a sudden I was like, whoa, it's going to be he and I. But the beauty of it in a way is he has always encouraged me. He encouraged Eden did too for a long time for me to do YouTube, and I was the resistant one. Encouraged me in all the endeavors I wanted to try. It was always encouraged and supported and backed. Never resistant or what's the word I want to use?
Doing that passive aggressive type of comments, like, or something like that, to deter you.
Nothing. Nothing. Always has been supportive. Like my whole marriage, it's not like we haven't ever had tension with each other or bickered or disagreed.
Oh
Okay,
God, no! You're a couple. You're gonna have those types of disagreements.
but we have never had knockdown, drag out, or hateful, or he's never called me a terrible word where it can't be reversed. You get what I'm
Okay. Yeah.
saying?
Yep. Yep. I get what you're saying.
My first marriage now was hell, complete abusive hell. This is totally opposite. So I'm fortunate in that. Is it perfection? No marriage is perfection. Period.
Oh God, no, no.
It,
I heard stories from neighbors after both my parents passed about some of the arguments that they could hear outside of the house while they were inside the house. They had, I mean, there's pressures, there's financial pressures, there's, you know, what's happening. Plus, this whole pandemic thing has put double pressure on couples when, you're basically locked into a home
yeah,
or a condo or apartment, and it's a constant 24/7. You don't get that, even that half hour of me time or alone time.
yeah. Yeah, Marcy says there is life. That is true. But, I'm looking at the statistics and everything, and I'm feeling like the breakdown is people are just jumping in, and they're not looking at the full picture. That's where the breakdown is. It's true. They're
True. I
going
think
passion and the chemistry and the lust and the woohoo, and then back of their mind is, if it doesn't work, I'll get divorced.
true. And that used to be, I remember growing up, that used to be a big no-no word. Like it was literally when people said it, oh, he's divorced. Like the voice would lower type of thing. It
Yeah.
wasn't considered. I don't know if it was the same for you growing up, but it would always kind of like people would whisper it. They wouldn't say, "Oh yeah, they're divorced." It's like, no, 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 they're separated, or oh no, no, they're divorced, because it was usually the last resort.
Yeah.
Now
And
I do understand, like especially with the Catholic upbringing, that there were a lot of people that were forced to extend their marriages when they shouldn't have. Like there's situations where, you know what, this shouldn't be happening, and similar like abusive situations where it's kind of like, well, you kind of have to work these things out, and and a lot of excuses made for the
mhm,
abuser to continue that when they shouldn't have.
yeah.
But yeah, with uh, there are certain times I do believe, yes, divorce is quite necessary, and you have to get out of certain things because it's not doing anybody any good
I
health
mean,
wise, either emotionally or physically.
I mean, to be quite honest, in my first marriage, I had a hard time leaving because I was afraid I was going to be murdered. That sounds harsh.
Yeah,
I'm not monetized. I probably shouldn't have said that word, but and I hope I don't get flagged. But that's the honest truth. It took me a while to get out because of that. So I had to be smart about it and clever. And I tried to do everything I could to get him help because, when in some situations like that, there's long periods of time where things are fine. And then there's a trigger, and then it's not. So eventually, I just said, I think that we need to separate. And we did. And in his mind, he thought we'd separate and eventually get back together after he did his thing as a single guy and then took, underwater diving lessons and all this crazy stuff, right? And I eventually said, okay, look, why don't you sign the divorce papers? Because we could always get remarried. I did this thing and
hmm
sort of messed with his head, actually, to get him to sign the divorce papers. With him still thinking we'll probably get back together. And it wasn't until he realized that I was getting remarried until he flipped. Now that's crazy. So women end
but
up in
your ex
those
also had
what?
but your ex also had this self-important ego that it would never happen to him, and he was the best thing that was going, and you'd be foolish to not get back with him. And to a person's ego, okay, I'm just gonna say, to a man's ego who has it that type of way, that's why he would flip. His ego was way too important for himself.
Yeah, this was a guy that was going on the road with all these famous musicians, rock stars, you name it. I mean, famous. Okay, so his ego was way overinflated. He was always on the road. He was home very little. And then he ended up doing things he shouldn't have been doing. So I was dealing with someone that I didn't know anymore. Yeah, it was scary. And
Exactly.
and look, I consider myself a smart person. and I didn't know
Hmm.
how to get out
Well,
of
you
it.
are.
Thank you. But you don't know how to get out of things sometimes. So I had to be very clever and time things just right to get out of there. So you have
Now,
those situations too.
but when you were going through that, and also for anybody in the chat who has gone through something similar, were your friends supportive, or were they kind of like, "Oh, are you sure you want to do that? Are you sure you like?" Were they planting self doubt, or were they supportive and trying to help?
They wanted me out a lot sooner, but they didn't understand every. They wanted me to go to a woman's shelter with a special needs child. That wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, very few shelters are set up
Right,
to accommodate something like that.
right. So I had to, I mean, I was dealing with things that they could not quite understand. And I was smart enough to realize the type of darkness I was dealing with, right? And I didn't want to end up on the front page of a newspaper. They were supportive in whatever way they could be, but I also didn't want them to be harmed. It's just, I
Because
mean,
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it's the same now, but I know back in the day, there's usually a lot of, hey, vintage. Usually there was a
David,
lot of pressure from families to try and keep a marriage together,
yeah.
like pressure on both sides to say, well, you really should, and they would plant more doubt. It's like, well, maybe she's just that way because you're this way, and maybe if you change this, she'll change that, which can lead to a lot more pressure on forcing people together that shouldn't be.
No,
I
my
don't know if it
family
was
was
the
for it.
same.
Yeah, I hid it.
Oh, okay.
I hid it from my family for a long time because, like I said, there were with abuse, heirs for long
Yeah.
periods of time. Things can be fine. Things can be. That's
Yes.
where it messes with your head. For long periods of time, things can be fine, and then all of a sudden, things are not. So, you know, you just have to. The fact that I had a small, brand new child is what gave me the strength to get out of it.
No, that's understandable. I'm just thinking back through the years
Oh yeah, back in
on.
women would stay and take it because they're just like you said. Families would encourage you to stay in that marriage, right, wrong, or indifferent. Divorce way, way, way back in the years, in my grandparents' years, even in my mom and dad's years,
Oh yeah,
right?
like
And that wasn't that long ago. People, that was horrific if you got a divorce. It was humiliating, embarrassing.
it was, all whispers.
Yeah.
Hey, Priya, you made it in.
Hey, Priya, Marzi, Vintage, so happy to see you. Love those butterflies. LMS, what does she say? Or he?
It's hard work, and sometimes it just isn't worth it. My marriage failed because we did not have anything in common other than physical attraction,
And then what happens when that changes?
which can change, especially as we get older,
Yeah.
or, accidents happen at times. Genetics takes over. So it's like the hair on the top isn't as free flowing and wavy as it was. Uh,
Women have babies and right, wrong, and different. You can have a rocking body before, even if you get your body back, it's not going to be exactly the same.
True. And I mean, men age similarly. I mean, if you're if you're working and taking care of a mortgage and then also family time, you're not actually, at a gym, and that six pack goes into a two pack that goes into a keg or a little dad bod belly, that type of thing. So that also occurs, and hair loss, the whole thing. So I think it's where people don't find out what their true interests are, or they don't want to, you know, the same two people that are married in their mid to late 20s are not the same two people by the time they're in their early 40s.
No, no, it's true because you keep evolving and changing.
So, can two people evolve together is the question.
That is what is hopeful, you know? When I was, oh Lord, after I got divorced, I found out more about myself and learned so much about myself and reintroduced myself to myself, if that makes any sense.
Hmm.
Because somewhere along the line, I got lost.
But were these things that you always had, like prior to your relationship, and you either let go or just put on the back burner, or were these just new areas you always wanted to explore?
Some of it is probably things that got lost, but some of it I think evolved because I was stronger than I thought. And I think that I just broke out of something, you know, that it was so compressed because I felt like I was walking on eggshells. That once the heat was off, I was allowed just to become more self aware. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
I was learning more, I was exploring more. Um, I think I just grew more.
Now, how long? I'm going to try and phrase it the right way because
Hmm.
I don't know exactly but how long after you finally left that relationship did you were able to throw off some of the old habits that kind of hindered you?
Habits such as what?
Well, for example, if you were walking on eggshells in certain situations, like in your daily routine, like you were so used to having to do something a certain way to avoid conflict, and then you were out of that situation, those types of habits, after doing them after so many years, become ingrained. So
Here's
when you finally realize that, oh, I can do it the way I always wanted to, and there's no one here to, you know, either put me down or try and limit me in doing it. Like, how long did it take before those old habits where the real you could come out?
I started doing it some while I was still in a situation, and that is part of what was burning up, blowing up the situation, for lack of better. That was part of what was triggering him more
Okay.
because I was done. I was over it. I was done, and I part of it was because right, wrong, or indifferent. I was studying and studying and studying things about my son because he was born early, he was a preemie, and I had access to a computer, and I was learning so much more. And I'm a nerd, and I would be in college for the rest of my life if I could. And I had access to a neurology chat, and I had access to people, and it opened up a world for me. And I don't know, I was able to reach out into the world, and my brain was wide open. Okay. So I was feeling more secure and stronger, and my brain was pumping. And I had just gotten a second degree when I conceived Noah. So I guess my brain was going again, and I was in connection with these people, and I was feeling more froggy's not the word, confident. So I guess I was just done. So I was like, okay, I'm over this. I'm not going to do this. I don't care what you do to me.
Cool. Hey,
So,
Fields of Grace.
hey, Fields of Grace, Kim. So I was just, that's Kim's new channel.
Oh,
So, anyway, I was starting to kind of fight back and bite back, and it was causing issues. So after he left, it was just such a big relief, and I was having to still deal with him. So I had my called my grandfather. He came down 2 hours, changed the doors on the house, changed the locks. It was starting there. You see, little baby steps. And I would do things like crank up the music and dance through the house. And I can remember wanting, I lived out in the country, wanting to just go out in the middle of the rain and get rained on in the middle of the night. Crazy things like that. Arms out in the middle of the night wanting to get rained on, just felt the rain hit me. You see what I'm saying?
hmm
Just small things to rediscover me. And it didn't take long. I was by myself out there probably 3.5 years.
oh wow.
Yeah. So I was just exploring the world again.
Now, have you warned your hubby that you may be after even maybe going back to college on site that you may be dragging him out into the middle of a rainstorm?
No, I don't know. Look, he's always saying, you know, I told you he's grew up in Denmark, so he speaks English. Um, so he still got that. He sounds like Schwarzenegger from the South.
Oh wow.
So I'll do something. He'll go, "You're crazy. You crazy." Nothing
Oh my god.
surprises him with me. Nothing.
That's a good thing though.
Yeah,
That's a good thing because I always remember my dad saying your mom was so crazy it was never a dull day.
yeah.
So so that's a good thing.
I mean, you know, if we're in a store together and I shake my booty in front of him in the middle of the store, that doesn't surprise him.
He just goes, "Oh yeah, okay."
It's that kind of relationship.
Well, no, that's a good one. Hey, Jenny.
Hey, Jenny. Jenny from the block. Dun 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 dun. Jenny from the block. Oh, I should have been scrolling down. Yeah, Kim Taylor's new site for inspiration and Bible and spiritual things is Fields of Grace. She also has, you know, her cooking show.
Yes, I always look for those posts when they come across on Instagram and go, ah, yes, I'm taking my Tupperware.
It's so good. I love looking at the cooking show too. Jenny says Billy just went down to bed.
Oh, wow.
But see, had I looked at what I'm telling people to do when I met husband number one, I probably, now, I wouldn't have traded Noah for anything, but I probably would not have married him.
Hmm.
I probably wouldn't have. Because it would not have filled the needs. I would have seen there wasn't compatibility.
True.
Because
Outside of the initial attraction.
right. Because it was more like we were running away from something, right? I was trying to escape something. Is how I got hooked up with him.
But just to ask the people in the chat as well as yourself,
Yeah.
would you feel comfortable prior to getting into a relationship with anybody, comfortable living alone?
Meaning living by themselves as an individual and exploring the world.
Yes. Simply because I found among some of my group, as I've gotten older, when they're in relationships where you kind of see them not meshing either with financial spending or what they view on taking vacations or time together, I found a few people that are like, I hate being alone. I don't like being alone. Like they don't want to come home to a house or a condo or an apartment and be the only one there. And that's really kind of scary for a lot of people.
Jenny says she loves living alone. I loved it living alone. Now, my mom doesn't count living with your child, your infant, as living alone. I do because you're raising your child. When they're a baby, it's not the same. You get what I'm saying? When you're having to take care of them, you're not technically alone, but you are.
But I'm just saying this would be before any relationship occurred, like
Oh, I got you.
before anybody got married or so forth. Like when you're in that post high school up to the mid 20s, late 20s, would you have enjoyed living alone?
Probably, yeah.
Because like I said, for some of my friends, they are very scared to live alone. They don't like it. They like having somebody to come home to. They don't like the silence. Like when they come in, like me, I like putting on the music. I'll tune in, watch some of your old shows for some of the techniques. Like there's plenty of things that I can keep myself occupied, either further education, stuff like that. But for a lot of people, they need that person there, and that can sometimes drive them to get into the wrong relationships.
I see what you're saying. I mean, do you live alone,
Yes, I do.
JP? Do you like it?
Yes, because I made my condo comfortable for me. So it's eclectic. It's like you can come in, you can, lie down on the couch. If you want to put your feet up, put your feet up. It's very, I think it's very comfortable.
Yeah.
And I decorated it to my tastes because I'm not involved with anybody who would probably have a different decorating style.
Right.
But for me, it's very, now I am getting a little stir crazy here with lockdown. I'm not going to, Jenny, you can relate. So yes, so now my home, although it's comfortable, I'm getting a little annoyed with, but that's because of the situation we're here north of the border, where we're still in lockdown restrictions. But overall, yes, I've enjoyed living alone or living single.
I'm like Jenny. Like when I lived out there with Noah, I lived in the country. Okay. Now, he tried to isolate me. That was another thing. And I didn't realize it at the time. He isolated me from family, friends, everybody. I was 12 miles from the closest grocery store, 12 or 14 miles. Cows were my neighbors.
Oh wow.
Cows. But I lived out there alone, well, with Noah as a baby for 3.5 years, and it didn't bother me. It didn't bother me for some crazy reason. I did have an alarm on the house, but I don't know. It probably should have bothered me. Now, if I didn't have a child and I lived alone, I don't know. Probably a condo wouldn't bother me. I would like if there was an emergency. I'd like to know there's somebody I could run to.
Yes.
If somebody, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, this was pre cell phones, people. That's what I'm talking about. Where you
That's
can't.
scary.
Yeah, but you know what? We did it. A lot
Yeah.
of road trips, the whole thing. Didn't think twice. You packed your Adidas bag, threw some clothes in, and you headed into a car with your friends, and you took off.
Hello, magnetic vortex resonance. I have never seen that name. How interesting. Let me pull that up. she said, or he said, for a large percentage of women, marriage is like landing a dream job. Then a couple of years later, demanding half ownership of the business that hires you. Family law overwhelmingly favors women. I cannot deny that that is probably true, especially if they have kids.
Well, you also have to take into account who is the going to be the primary custodian of the children,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, especially if they have kids.
and if when you're hired, okay, when you put in the thing landing a dream job and hired, if the agreement between two people is that one person's going to be at home, so if you're removing somebody from their traditional income to take on a different job, and then you have to be equitable in a divorce. But if both people are working and both people want joint custody and they're both of sound mind and body and emotionally healthy for the kids, then I would agree with you. But if you're saying that because somebody has been at home raising a child or raising your children too, whether you're male or female, they're both, the children are still your children, because I really get annoyed at men who don't pay child support.
Yeah, me too.
Just putting it out there in a polite way, then you should be able to contribute financially as well as your time. It's when these people don't, then I don't think, I think the laws are valid. But if a male comes in and says, listen, I want 50% child, I'm willing to do 50%, half and half child custody, and both people are working and they're both contributing commonly to the child. Remember, this is about your kids. In divorce, it's not about you.
Yeah.
It's about making sure that any children of the divorce are well taken care of. Then yes, I can think the laws can be, again, more in favor of female women. But you have to come up to the plate too. Both sides have to come up to the plate when it's coming into the realm of children. I don't know. I
Yeah.
think I may be rambling, but I mean, it's just, I understand your point. But
Oh,
if, if anybody else likes to comment, please come online. Can't just be me rambling.
yeah. No, I understand her point if it's like some of the women that marry guys, especially really wealthy guys, like in the OC, that maybe in the movie business or et cetera, and they marry them and then skip out after a couple of years and take them to the bank. I get that. But many, many times women are working too. If if there are children involved, it should be equitable. If women are working as well, I don't see it as, marrying into
True, but by equitable, that
a
means by
dream job.
time. That means by time as well.
Yeah,
Like if I ever had children and we ended up divorced, I would expect that I would have the kids 50% of the time.
yeah. But
Like,
oftentimes the men don't.
but that's the thing. Then they're not doing their duty as a dad.
Yeah, but I mean, a couple of years, that's a short period of time. We don't know about. We're adding kids and everything to the
Yeah,
scenario. I mean, it could go anywhere in a couple of years, but yeah, women do take advantage. But a couple of years, I'd have to have all the pieces
yeah,
to the story.
yeah. There can be so many. There's so many different pieces depending on the individual divorce.
Yeah,
But my main thing is that when there's children involved, both parties have to kind of put whatever hurt aside, do what's best for the kids. And from everything that I've been hearing from people in various chats,
uh-oh, did you drop? Jenny said, till he drops and comes back. The only problem with living alone is if you lose your cell phone and no one can
Kids
call
and
it.
spending time with the kids, that's
Yeah.
where I kind of get a little more irate with them.
Yeah, you dropped for a minute.
Oh,
Magnetic said that she has also worked in the black budget world while in the military. I don't have any knowledge about that, so I can't really comment.
yeah, I don't know what you're referring to by black budget. So if you could kind of expand on that.
Um, Paranormal says, what would happen? She's talking to Magnetic and said, what would happen if the ex doesn't want to pay child support? What kind of stuff can she do? I mean, she would have to let the attorneys take care of that with him, really.
Yeah, unfortunately, you only have a legal recourse in that type of items.
And she said, yes, UFOs are real. Some are property we own and some are off world devices. Most of what is witnessed is ours. Hmm. But what
Okay.
about the ones that are not ours? BB is many levels above top secret. Very interesting.
Oh, but
So,
magnetic vortex. If we were talking originally about, have you ever been in a relationship where it hasn't worked out, where you found that beyond the lust aspect or the physical attraction, you really didn't have anything else in common?
yeah, because people don't look for the compatibility ratio. I mean, if you go back to love languages, for instance, some people don't take the time to see if they're speaking each other's love languages, like words of affirmation, spending quality time, receiving gifts, acts of service, or physical touch. These were come up with by Gary Chapman. What would be your love language, JC Bear?
Oh,
Your primary.
I don't really know that much about language. I'd have to explore that more. I mean,
I mean, the one
give me.
that touches you the most with someone else.
Oh, see,
That,
I'm so used to doing a lot of things for myself because I've been living single
yeah,
that, for me, if I came home and somebody else has made dinner, um, real simple things like, you know, I came in and, the laundry was put away, or it doesn't have to be anything big or spectacular or anything like that. But, maybe surprising me and picking me up at work if I was taking, public transit. It doesn't have to be a big display. It's like, oh, you thought of me.
yeah,
That gets me more than and then a lot of like a big display of something or something really showy. Mind you, yes, I don't mind having tickets to Bali. That would be cool. but I mean, but I mean, if you're looking on something day to day, it's like those little things where, wow, you really thought of doing this, so I didn't have to do it, so we could spend more time together. Stuff like that. I think would be my primary one.
yeah. I'm not exactly sure um, what my love language is. I mean, I think mine is that Shan said yours is acts of service. I think mine's probably acts of service or
Oh, hey, Shannon Van, I haven't
I
seen you
don't
in a while.
acts of service or probably quality time. I'm not sure, one or the other. I'm easy. I'm cheap. I mean, if you're thoughtful, if you put thought in something with me, that's what touches my heart. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I mean,
She's in the daylight, and it's
Hey,
dark as
Oh
guys.
heck
my God.
here.
Yes, that's because you're out west.
I'm out east.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey,
I'm going,
gorgeous,
Hey.
with her
Um,
Hollywood on.
I was with my shield, but I didn't think I could really pull that off right now.
no, but you have your I don't want to be recognized glasses on.
So, JC, your love language is clearly acts of service.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
you just
because
told us, so you do know.
well, I guess I never really classified it because if someone's thinking about me and doing something that I wouldn't expect them to do, that really, that means a lot more to me than the big showy stuff. Mind you, like I told you, tickets to Bali. Hey, that's always a good anniversary gift.
I think everyone needs to know what their love language is so that they can know what to ask of their partner.
Yeah, it's
Because if you
important.
don't know, how's your partner going to know?
What is yours, Shan?
Mine is gifts and touch. They're equally as important. You can't unbalance them, they have to be equal. You can't make up for lack of touch with more gifts. It doesn't work.
Mine. I don't have to have big extravagant. Look, I don't have to have somebody buy me gifts all through the year or anything like that. But if you give me something for Christmas, it can be $10. But I would like to see somebody put thought into it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
Like it meant something,
Of course.
like an old memory, or you know what I mean.
Yeah, I like
Well,
that all year round.
oh my God. Oh my God.
No, but
No, I mean,
it can be like a bottle of like this beautiful balsamic vinegar that you found at a farmer's market and you knew I love vinegar, so you got it. Something like that. Nothing
Yeah,
like
yeah, little things. I do like that. Yeah. Why
well,
can't it be a piece of all of them, but in tiny ways?
I think my non giveaway would be because I don't have kids and because my relationship, especially at this stage of my life, would probably not involve children, except maybe as a stepdad. Um, my birthday would be important because it's something
Oh,
that's
you
solely mine.
can't miss. Yes, you can't miss a birthday. Mm-mm.
Yeah, that would be a non-negotiable. It's like you can't miss it, and it doesn't have to be on the day. You could plan something on the weekend afterwards, but you'd have to do something on my birthday.
well,
I
that's the
think
thing. You celebrate that the person is alive. You celebrate the fact that this person is special because they are in your life and that they are alive. To me,
yes, yes. I mean, for me, yeah, the Christmas holidays and so forth, especially since with the nieces coming along, for me, Christmas doesn't is like I don't need gifts at Christmas from my family, but the kids love seeing them with the gifts. It just drives it. That's why I get so excited when Chan gets a gift. It's like, oh, I can watch her open it. Yes, 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 yes. So, I mean, when it comes to like those types of holidays, yes, I'll go a little like over the top uncle. What do they want? Okay, okay, half a laptop. Here you go. Oh, they need this game. Yeah, just because I love it. But
aw,
Christmas is really about for me. It's really about the kids, and it's like with adults, it's like okay, yeah, we buy little gifts, but the main thing is about the kids at that time.
I
For
bet he
me,
makes it magic.
I try.
Mm-mm-mm.
Well, I just wanted to call in because I loved the love language was so clear to me, so I just had to call in and say, JC, I see it. I know what your love language is. So everybody else, figure out. I'm okay. Thank you, though. That's nice of you. Thank you. Sorry about that. Yeah, I think it's just so important that everybody knows because your partner's not a mind reader, and once you know your own language and what their language is, then it's just like one less relationship issue kind of out of the way.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but the thing is that I guess for me, that's the way I would also show it. Like it
Ooh.
wouldn't be like as in,
Yeah. Actually, I am too. Yeah. I love giving
yeah,
gifts. It's so much fun.
but I mean, I would also show it through little, I guess, acts of service
I like to show it
for
through
them.
physical touch.
Well, yes. Open that gift slowly, slowly. Yeah, just take the paper.
What does your shirt say?
My shirt says it. Oops,
It.
it was better in the 90s.
I love it.
I'm such a
Oh
dork.
my God, Shan, you're dating yourself. When you do that.
I know. It's okay. Yeah, but you know what? It's okay. It's okay. It's the 90s. It's okay. Oh, yeah. See? Open it. Open it.
Open it. Open it.
Oh, honey, I have to tell y'all something funny. I went to the convenience store and I had my mask on, right? And I'm standing at a distance, and this tall guy walks in, and he's talking to somebody behind me, and the guy's going, "I'll let you in front of me." So he walks in front of me with no mask on, and he's way tall, so he leans forward and kind of stares at me, and he goes, "Hey, are you Kathy?" "No, I'm not Kathy." "Really? You're not Kathy?" "No, I'm not Kathy." And it was just a weird, freaky. I thought, what? Did you think I was a stripper back in the day? What the heck?
It's not a stripper name. That's like
So,
an auntie name.
yeah, but still, it was just the weirdest thing, bending down, staring in my eyes. "Are you Kathy?" Like I don't know my name.
Or he
Twice?
could have just been trying to hit on you.
Yeah, I just don't think so.
The no mask part I would have been like, "Oh, move!"
It was just freaky. But I mean,
you don't look like a Kathy.
No, but just to look at me like it was not like he knew me. It was kind of like he was trying to figure out, am I someone he saw somewhere?
Okay, cool.
I think he was hitting on you.
Ugh.
But his approach. What?
Not your type.
So all you see are those lovely eyes of yours.
I'm too old for that.
You're never too old to get hit on. Hey, it keeps my fur shiny, so stop that.
Your fur shiny. Now I understand, JC Bear. It just hit me all at once.
It's the truth. When somebody flirts with you, some guys. Okay, I told you, some guys have a weird swag game. A weird swag game. Okay, like. To be leaning into you that close and saying that, yeah, that's kind of like a creeper vibe.
I mean, literally around like a giraffe in front of me.
Yeah, that's creeper vibe. Now, if he had stood at the end of where they pick up the groceries and looked up at you and said, "Excuse me, but your eyes remind me of my friend. Is that you, Kathy, behind the mask?" That's a little different approach than.
Whoa.
That's creeper vibe to me, but you were getting hit on. Just accept it. Move on.
Yeah, just make something fun out of it. Make something fun. Like, yeah, I still got it.
Yeah, okay. Grandma. I'm not a grandma yet, but
Like,
Yeah,
whoa, Edith, chill. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go make dinner. But it was so good to see you.
What are you making? What are you making?
I haven't decided yet. I have to go stare. You know when you just open the door and you're like, what's left in here?
Oh, yeah.
Because I usually do my big thing on Sunday.
What are you leaning up against? You're not down at the beach?
Nope, that's a wall. It's a wall.
Are you in Yaletown, Gastown?
Oh, look, I don't know. Shannon Van's going to keep it a mystery.
From me and Dana? Come on. Oh my Lord. Just wait till I can get out of this lockdown.
Whoa, and she
left
like
us.
That. She's too cool.
Because she knew I was cornering her, and she was like, "I'm not going to talk to you anymore, Click."
Finishes. That has to be the worst pickup line ever.
I told you, some guys don't have swag, and they don't know how to approach.
And she goes, there has to be a difference between getting hit on and flirting. No, yeah. That was just weird.
Hey, Kai Bear.
Hi, Kai Bear. But it did give me the feeling like he was maybe saw a stripper somewhere back in the day and was trying to figure out if I was that stripper. That's the feeling I got. Oh, sweet dreams, LMS. Thank you so much for coming. But I want to know in the chat, have you ever thought about the difference in chemistry and compatibility? Did you do any of that? Try to figure out if you were really compatible with somebody. Would you do that now if you're single? Try to put some of the chemistry and stuff to the side and make a compatibility list. I was watching on YouTube. I've done it before. I've seen it before, and I pulled it up again. I forgot who does it. I wish I could remember. They do. There was a scientific test done, and they decided to do it on this program. 35. I think New York Times did it. 35 questions to fall in love. So they put two people in a room. They call it tea time, and they drink an herbal or fruit tea, and they ask each other 35 questions. Two strangers. They're sitting on pillows. They look at each other. They take turns. And generally, at the end of the 35 questions, they take 4 minutes to stare into each other's eyes quietly. And a lot of times, it's after they've asked these really pertinent, personal questions about their life, what they've done, what's hurt them, what was the most important thing, and really personal questions. So they stare in their eyes for 4 minutes, and when it's done, it just brings up all this emotion after asking 35 questions. They decide whether they're going to go on a second date. And a lot of them go on a second date and carry on from there. What do you think about that?
That would be really interesting to try.
I'd like to do it on here.
True, but I mean, they would be, they would have to stare at each other. They'd have to, first of all, come up on vid and show themselves on camera and be able to honestly state that they're staring at each other's eyes.
Yeah. Or not. I mean, you don't have to necessarily do that part.
The 35 questions would be interesting.
Yeah.
Because depending on where you are in life, it would unveil or reveal a lot of aspects, especially for 20 and 30 somethings when it comes to families, goals. When you're looking at, finances also plays a part when you're settling down as a couple versus when you're dating.
Yeah.
And common goals for the future. Like, that would be really interesting to unveil what people would think.
I mean, they were asking all kinds of questions from the past, the present, the future, with it, just really delving into compatibility type things rather than all of the lusty things.
Yes. So all the visual aspects of someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would actually be interesting if everybody took that test as they're getting involved.
Yeah.
Just to see, because I'm sure it would open up a lot of areas of further discussion that would reveal something outside of the physical fun of a relationship.
At some point, I might throw it out there and see if it sticks. To see if I can find, because I would kind of look at it first, or look at possibilities of people that kind of align, not just random picks. You get what I'm saying? People that kind of align with each other, generally, to put in that situation. for the 35 questions. Not just, Mo and Joe to see if it goes.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
And then,
I think everybody
could watch.
That's true. And then everybody can participate on whether, was the answer sound really true? Did whether they're both jiving in their compatibility overall? That would be interesting. But we need willing participants.
Yeah,
So
and people
spread
that
the
aren't
word,
scared.
people.
Yeah.
Yes, spread the word, people.
Yeah, I would like to do that on here.
Oh, we got to do Shan.
I don't know if Shan would do it.
Oh, Shan would. She's up for the challenge, aren't you, Shan?
I would have to find somebody that would align with Shan. She's intelligent, she's attractive, she's independent. Someone that would be feisty, that would be, in good alignment with her to do the 35 questions.
And they have to be good at banter.
Yeah. I don't want to just put anybody up there with it.
Yeah, I mean, like, if they're not good at banter and they have to do more than just yes or no.
Yeah, I don't want somebody that's flaky or ugh.
True. And vintage, you think that you're off the hook? Come back, come up on the panel, vintage.
Yeah,
come up.
Yeah. and I'd like to find somebody possibly for vintage if she's interested. Anybody interested in doing the 35 question, if you're listening later or you're in the chat now, let me know. And I will look for a potential person that might be in the realm of someone to ask questions with you. It doesn't mean you have to go on a date. It doesn't mean you have to get married. None of that. Just to do the 35 questions.
Okay, they're all backing out of the stare part. Okay, the 35 questions.
Yeah, you don't have to do the stare part. You don't have to do the stare part. And you can give me a signal if you want to do the stare part.
So we have two potentials. We have Vintage and Shan as two potential guinea pigs for this. Yes.
Okay, Shan, look. If it's going well and you think you want to do the stare part, you give me a signal. How about that?
Yeah, that's all good.
I'm a weirdo. I spent my day making stencils of Spock. Stencils of Spock? Now, if you love Spock, that's not weird.
Well, I don't know. Vintage and I still have to get together to have our debate about Picard versus Kirk. But are we talking vintage Spock or are we talking modern Spock?
Shane goes, a 4-minute eye stare would kill her. Oh God, Bear says she's going to have breakfast. I love every time I see her koala bear. I love koala bears. But I want people to re-examine compatibility, people. Ask questions. I wish... Oh, she said, I never said yes.
Yes, you did. You just... You said you would do everything except for the stare. So that's all good. Willow, that would be great if you wanted to do the 35 questions. I think that would actually be great.
What if I could, come up with just a whole, how those tests that you used to have to take and you'd have to do the dots at college and stuff. What if I could come up with different questions aligned with different personality types and do this thing on here? What if it just happened to work for some people? What do you got to lose, right? The point is, I would like to see people really be self-aware and look for compatibility rather than the instant chemistry that gets them in so much trouble.
Marzea said she'd do the 35 questions, so we have 4 potentials. Yay!
Woo-hoo!
Shan, you never said it, but I seen it in your eyes that you said yes. I can communicate with you, oh BC fellow Canuck.
I mean, everybody wants to be connected to someone they can depend on, that inspires them, that they can talk to about their day, that's actually their friend, right? At the end of the day, that person that you fall in love with, I use fall loosely. I don't like the fall part. That you are connected in love with. I like that better. Connected in love with. You get what I'm saying?
True. Yep.
Because in your lifetime, you sort of have to fall in love with that person again and again and again at different points. I like connected in love with. But you want that person to walk through life with. But you also want to be able to be independent with them. Be your independent self, they be their independent self, so you can venture your interests, they can venture their interests, and you support each other in that. I'm not,
Yep.
look, Stephen and I are like night and day. We're not interested in the same things.
But you have common things that you like to do with each other and so forth. Like common interests with each other as well.
Yeah, if we would like to go to the mountains. There's this thing where we can go pan for gold. Things like that we like to, if we get the chance, we like to do.
And you like spending time with each other.
Yeah.
As a couple.
Yeah, and we like spending time doing our own thing too.
Well, yeah, you need that because you both need, every couple, each half needs, something that's theirs.
But we both love our animals. We love our kids to death. We both like to, when we get the chance, do things for other people or do things of service for other people. So we have a lot of commonalities and we have a lot of differences.
But you need that because if the differences complement each other, they also may help make a relationship work.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to be married to somebody just like me.
Yeah, that would get boring for me too. I would need somebody that has no problem saying, come on, why don't you just try this and let's go on a new adventure and see if we like it.
True. I mean, we've got to get the most out of this life we can. But I want to ask the chat too, what do you think about what I'm saying about I'm not saying that passion and chemistry and lust and all that stuff doesn't have a place. I'm not saying that. But we all know that wick burns out and you have to get another wick. I'm not saying cheating. But that is a whole lot of reason why we have the divorce and cheating. And why people get bored and why they look outside and all of that stuff. If you are satisfied on the inside, you don't have the need. Right?
True.
Unless you were really physically focused. If you're a whore dog.
And there are, yeah, and there are some people that's basically, that's all they are.
Right.
But if you want to be, a horn dog all the time, then don't involve other people in a relationship for that. Just keep it as is, one, like, not a committed relationship. It's where people lie to themselves about who they truly are, where they can get into trouble.
Right.
When it comes to a relationship.
Be self-aware enough, if you're a horn dog, do your thing, man or woman. Be your best horned hog, but don't get in a relationship and don't feel like you have to own somebody or they have to be there for you to use. Be self aware and do your thing. If,
Exactly.
if you want to travel the world, if you want to do this, that, and the other, where you cannot be there for somebody, where you don't have the personality, where you can be dependable, be aware. You're not ready for a relationship. Don't get in one.
Hmm. Exactly.
But if you're dying for a
Or
relationship,
don't.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, don't lure somebody under like false pretenses type of thing.
Yeah, but if you're dying for a relationship, make sure you're getting into it for the right reasons. Don't get into it for financial reasons. Don't get into it because you need to be saved. Don't get into it because you feel like you can save that person. Don't get into a relationship because you don't want to be alone. Don't
Exactly. Oh,
don't get yeah.
Jenny raised a question. What are we getting into if we do the 35 questions?
Mhm.
Explain. The way I took it, it's more a journey of self-discovery of the areas from yourself. Those 35 questions.
Well, hopefully too, we can find a counterpart that you will be doing the questions with. Like in Jenny's case, a male
True.
that is, generally compatible to what she might be seeking. And they would be on the screen asking each other the questions. Don't you set me up, Dana. But this would be mostly for self awareness and how to work out the whole compatibility thing. You don't have to fall in love. You don't have to date them. You don't have to talk to them after this is over. This is more like a test, for lack of better.
It also gives you a little bit of tools when you do meet somebody, of things to keep in the back of your mind.
So you can have a healthier relationship, so you know how to move forward to work it to be more compatible. So you can have, if you choose to get married, a marriage that lasts a lifetime, rather than jumping on something that's solely, yeah, it's a guinea pig situation, basically. That's what vintage option is.
True.
Yeah, it's a guinea pig situation. You would be a test subject and you would learn a lot from it. So therefore, as you move forward, if you choose to get married again, you will make a better choice. You would make a choice based on compatibility rather than choices from solely chemistry and passion, which many people do, and that's why we're having so many divorces.
True.
Set aside um, situations that are because of the A word.
True. And you know, looking up at each other, not really having anything to talk about or want to talk about. No, this is not a setup, Jenny.
What do you mean
This is
isn't a
not.
setup?
It's
It's
not a
not.
setup.
It's not just about you. It's about whoever wants to join it. I don't have the counterparts yet. I'm having to search. I'm gonna have to put notes out there. I have to put it out on Instagram. I'm gonna have to get people like JC Bear and other people to help me. I'm gonna have to talk on Instagram and say, "Hey, dudes, hey, females, anybody that's interested in this, I don't know what to call it yet.
See your
Experiment.
compatibility. Yeah, see your compatibility level.
This compatibility experiment that will take place live on Dear Dana. DM me.
Yes, it's all good. There's nothing to be afraid of.
It is not a setup. Once the show is over, you're done. It's a social experiment. Perfect. It is a social experiment. Thank you, Marty. Absolutely. It is a social experiment. Once the show is over, that's it. Unless you choose to do anything about it, that's it. I have nothing else to do with it when it's over. If you talk,
Exactly.
if you
It's
talk,
for fun.
yeah, it's a social experiment.
Oh, we've piqued Vintage's curiosity.
We just need to pick the date for it. It's probably going to take me. It may not take me long to get the counterparts. I just want to get
True.
the right counterparts. You don't have to date them. You don't have to talk on the phone with them after this is over. You don't have to do the hubba hubba. None of that. Mm-mm.
Well, up here, let's put it this way: north of the border, there's none of that going around. We're in lockdown. But I must leave yous.
Okay.
It's time for me to go. So
Ooh.
always a pleasure, always fun. Big hugs to everybody in the room. And don't be scared. Come on, Vintage. Why don't you come up? You like talking about guinea pigs in this experiment. Come on, Jenny. You too. The link was there. Come on up.
Spread the word. When do we want to do this, JC? What do you think, my buddy?
Well, first of all, we need 4 or 5 willing counterparts.
Mm-hmm.
And your Saturday show would probably be best.
Yes.
Unless they're not available, then maybe your Wednesday show. Like, at least you have 2 options, one during the week and one on the weekend.
Let's plan on a Saturday in June.
Yeah, that way it gives a good month or a month and a half to come up with the counterparts.
Yeah. Because I'm serious. Spread the word, people.
It can't hurt, and it can be a lot of fun.
To the females that choose to do this, that are my regulars, I will give you a prize.
It's all good. Remember, cupcakes are available in your area. Oh, why not? If you're going to do a nice chocolate cupcake, doesn't hurt, does it, Jenny? A nice chocolate cupcake. Come on. We know you loved your chocolate cupcake and your vanilla. Anyways, I will see you guys all on Wednesday. You're next up on Wednesday.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Okay,
I
cool.
enjoy JC Bear. Thank you.
Have fun. Love yous all.
Bye. So, I guess I'm crazy as I don't know. I did not plan to do this, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do the social experiment. I'm going to do the 35 questions. I don't know what the prize is yet. It may be something out of my store. I have a Poshmark store. A lot of my items are brand new clothing. I don't know yet. I have to see. Don't know what the prize is yet. So anyway, I want it to be more about the experiment though. This is a social experiment. It's painless. You will learn a ton about yourself. Hello, Vintage.
Why, hello there.
How are you doing?
I can't believe I missed the bear.
I know. He's so sweet to come up. So what do you think about the social experiment I want to do?
Well, I do enjoy being a guinea pig, so I'm very excited. I do believe you can call me Subject A.
Oh, thank you.
Because I think that would be very fun.
And you prefer your counterpart to be female, correct? Or male?
Yeah, I guess female. I don't know. With lockdown, I don't know. I'm almost a dendrophiliac because I've been gardening so much.
Well, I can't bring a plant.
I know, but yeah, I guess a lady. I,
Okay.
I, I feel like I could handle a lady.
Okay. So, I just think it would be a good thing. When I look at all of that stuff, there's so much that has gone on that's been hard on us. If we could get people to really have healthy relationships and learn what it is they really need versus wanting,
Well,
right?
also, I find that all of the friends that I've introduced your channel to, you're very empathetic. So I feel like your 35 questions would be certain questions where you actually get to understand the person. So it's not a situation of lust. It's more of someone meeting someone on your level. But I
Yeah,
believe I believe you could do that.
it
Well,
is. It is about understanding the person.
yeah. But now I'm really curious. What are the 35 questions? Can I like what's one of them?
It's going to vary. It's going to be like maybe what is something that you are most proud of that you've done in your life?
Oh wow. So you're breaking it down.
Yeah.
Oh, do I have to answer it? You're giving
No,
me
no,
serious eye contact.
no. You don't have to answer it, but what it'll be is people will feel that in their gut, right? And
Yeah.
they'll have that person in front of them, so you know they're not going to take a long time to answer. They'll feel it, and it'll come up.
Oh, I understand. Because you scared me. Because the most serious thing I've done is just spray paint Spock. I wasn't kidding. I actually did spray paint like 3 spots.
But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
I could see I'd be horrible on a date. Like, oh my, like these existential questions. Like, so what did you do today? I worked on my bok choy and I planted my fig plant and I worked on Spock.
but I mean, it could be simple things like that, but it will be other things where people, instead of asking surfacey crap questions, really actually get to know the person.
Oh, yes, yes. All surface questions are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So by the time it's over, they really get a grasp of who that person is.
that's true.
Instead of walking away, well, oh, she was cute and I really like, how she said that, and they really don't know the person at all.
To be honest, if someone walked away and was like, oh, I love the way she did her Spock stencils, that would be amazing.
But
Um,
people like quirky things about people.
oh, you used quirky. Thank you.
What
Um,
what, what was it that you called me? It was a couple of things.
there have been a couple, and I have all your Dana-isms down. Um, but I love when I remember you said it on Up and Adam. You said your vibe makes your tribe.
Your vibe attracts your tribe.
Yes, your vibe attracts your tribe, and I thought like, oh my gosh, because I love to read, so I always write down certain quotes, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna follow this woman. So I do feel like there's a kind of intuition when you hear someone speak or you relate
Yeah.
to opinions, and I don't know, there is something like that attracts another person to someone.
Yeah.
And I do feel like with like a line of questioning, it's different from like physical attraction because you actually have to, you know what I mean, like you know the person before you meet them. um I remember in English class, what is it, in Shakespeare, you you don't meet the character right away. You have to wait and act, and then you meet the character, something like that. So having questions before you meet someone, and then you see if there's a physical attraction. I think that'd be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it's important to flip it because there have been people, think about it, in your life. There have been people I have met that I didn't initially find them that attractive. Not that they were ugly, but I didn't find them that attractive. But something happened when I got to know them. And then all of a sudden, I thought they were beautiful. Right? But it was the essence of them, things I learned about them, and the way I perceived them just completely changed.
That makes sense, though. There was a film, Sex, Lies, and Videotape. Men fall in love with what they're attracted to, and women become more attracted to what they love.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But sometimes men can perceive women differently, right? One man might think a woman is the most gorgeous thing he's ever seen, and another man might think, she's not my type.
That's true.
Just
But
like some men prefer big boob blondes, and some men do not like intellectual women.
yeah,
It's just how it rolls. It's just a difference in opinion, a difference in choice.
but I think that falls into the line of preference, doesn't it? But for me, I just like a self. I like a confident woman.
Yeah.
But I do. A lot of my male friends, there's a type that they prefer. So, like, for example, I live in the Bronx, and a lot of my Spanish friends prefer a certain kind of woman. Um, you know, like bling.
Yeah. But see, they're not really getting to know the individual.
No, they never get along. Most of my female friends that are with their booze, oh no, they're not happy at all. I mean, sexually, they're fine, but yeah, like as far as an existential kind of partnership where you find someone, your soulmate, that doesn't exist here. This is New York City. There's no soulmate.
If you had to blindly find out who you were the most compatible with and connected to on that level, and that blossomed into a very deep love, but you never saw them until it had already blossomed, right? That would be very, I guess there's a program out there like that, I guess.
Ooh, but see, that tickles me a little bit because I made the mistake of falling in love with my best friend before.
Yeah.
So having that kind of relationship again would offend my sensibilities.
Yeah.
Because I don't trust anyone anymore. So it would take a special kind of person to, and yeah, I think you do have to do the work. So that's why the 35 questions, I think that's interesting because you do have to know the person beforehand. But even then, like I'm reminded of when your friends pushed you to go to that dating site and you were like, okay, oh my gosh, okay, you want me to go to a dating site? This is what I want. So, you know what I mean?
I was a little harsh. Yeah.
A little harsh.
Yeah.
I love that you took a picture of both you and Noah together, so you know what I'm about, you know? I love that.
I didn't want to play games.
Exactly, but I do. I did read a book called The Game, which is all about pickup artists, and so I know what the game is. And yeah, I don't want to play that. I'm, you know, I feel like after a certain point, don't you just want to be happy?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, peace, tranquility, pursuing things you want to pursue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just want to be happy. You want to feel
Exactly.
love. You want to feel comfort. You want to be happy. Whatever that happy is at the moment. Being happy in the moment should be the goal. And then the next moment. And then trying to be happy in the next moment.
Consistency is the worst.
What do you mean?
Just trying to be consistently happy. I mean, there are certain things that you have to do. A plant only grows if you water it. So you have to be consistent and water it.
Yeah,
So there are
yeah.
certain things.
People think that there is this magic formula that if you do it once,
Yes.
it's just gonna roll out all the time. You don't have to do any more work. That's just not the way it is. You know, it's just not gonna keep pouring on you like gold.
Yeah, that's true.
And people get bored. They don't want to do the work. They look elsewhere. They fall into habits. They don't try.
I've always found it interesting that the only habits people fall into are bad ones.
Absolutely.
I've always found that interesting.
People will go hard for stuff that's going to make them money, give them kudos, make them look more beautiful. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
But when it comes to love, they don't nurture it. They just want it to be.
I do feel that there is an element of complacence as well, though.
Yeah, that was my point. Complacency.
Yeah, you're always willing to do the work initially in the beginning, and then as time wears on, there's an element of complacency. So you got to make it rich, you know. You got to figure out new things to do together. Like if there is a common factor, I think, like if you both like cooking, for example, cooking together or figuring out new recipes, or you know, there should be a common thread, I believe.
I mean, you either find a way to do things together or you drift apart.
Yes, I agree.
So people just, I mean, marriage is one of the hardest and most, it's worth it, but it's one of the hardest things you can do, just like parenting, right? You have to keep putting the butter in the mix, like when you're making a cake.
Mm-hmm.
You got to put the milk in and the butter in and the sugar in and all that stuff to make the whole cake. That's the way love is. If you keep out one ingredient, it's going to be crap. So you got to.
That's another Danaism.
But it just takes all of the ingredients. People can't leave out the ingredients.
Yeah, and that's true. I think when you fall in love initially, there is that fall and then there's love, but to keep it, you have to be consistent and you have to do the work.
I mean, even it's just like it with friendships too. And love eventually, but turns out that falling eventually, you have to nurture it like a friendship, like your other friendships.
But that's also why it's called falling in love.
Yeah.
You keep love, but if you keep falling in love, I don't think you'll ever stand up again.
Right. But you want to nurture it and you want to be compatible so it becomes that tight. That's why I rather call it, you know, what did I call it earlier? I can't remember. But being stable in love, not falling in love. Because at some point, the strength of the friendship and the compatibility is what takes you through the long haul.
Yes, I agree with that.
So I would like people to be more self-aware before they do the whole marriage shebang and the partner thing. I was telling Jenny, I said, I prefer people live together before they even get married if they want to get married, instead of just jumping into marriage, because then you really know the good, the bad, and the ugly. And there's no surprises.
I would totally live with someone before I got married, I think.
Because even honestly, that piece of paper does make a little bit of a difference. Because after you get married, you're like, oh, we're married now. Because you're still trying to be a little bit of your best before you're married.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like there's a difference between like an affirmation, like a personal affirmation, and like a certification. And I feel like once you get that marriage certificate, it's like, okay, now we're husband and wife, and here we go. These are the things that need to get done versus like a personal affirmation. And this is why I love Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn. They never
Oh,
got
yeah.
married. Like, and you know what I mean? So
Because they choose every day to be together,
exactly.
knowing
But
they can walk away at any time.
that for me shows like a difference between an affirmation and a certification.
Yeah. They choose every day to be together. Now, if you have kids,
And they do have kids.
yeah, I know, but they're rich.
Oh yeah. What? Yeah, I know.
That's a little different. They're way rich.
Oh yeah.
But when you need security and you're not way rich and you have kids, then I can see, wanting to get married, because of insurance and all this other stuff, benefits, yada yada. It's a whole nother ball game. But there's just a lot of things to look at. I just want people to be more self-aware. Bottom line, now is a time in our life, maybe we need to look within.
Well, I feel like anyone who's not self-aware after a year of quarantine,
Yeah,
I'm very curious.
Yeah, and then look at who we're hooking up with as partners, as friends, as even our friend group. Are we self-aware of who our friend group is? Why are we with this particular friend group? Does this friend group, they say that the 5 closest people in our life are representative of who we are in some aspect.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
So look around and see who your closest people are, and if you're not liking some of what you're seeing, that's a projection of in some way where you need to grow. And maybe where you need to maybe weed things out some, or grow in your life some, or expand beyond the box some. But sometimes we need to look in the mirror and become more self-aware and not, I don't want to say marry down or go down or go up or whatever. There is no down or up. We're all basically looking for the same things deep inside ourselves, regardless of what we're doing or what we're doing to other people or what's going on in our life. The core of ourselves, we're all basically looking for the same thing. We're wanting peace in our life, our families to be healthy, etc. We want love, companionship, but we need to be self-aware enough to see if we're compatible with our friends, with our partners, etc.
Yeah.
And not just grasping out of disparity, so we don't rise up, so we stay depressed or tied down or playing victim or whatever. Does that make any sense?
That makes perfect sense. Um, I do think that unfortunately and fortunately, so this is a double whammy, human beings get used to things very easily over a period of time. So if you've been depressed for a very long time, it's easy to just sort of stay in that rut. And
Yes, it is.
sometimes you need something to push you out of that. And then it's all about regularity and consistency. Happiness can come in moments of joy, but if you want to stay happy, you have to be consistent, in my opinion, and that's only what I've noticed.
No, I don't disagree with you. And happiness is a choice.
It's a
But
choice. Absolutely. It's a choice. It's a philosophy. It is a state of mind. And you have to stick with it because, unfortunately, as human beings, I feel like we always want to be depressed.
I've been in the depressed place, just like everybody else. But I feel like there are moments, if I am there too long, it feels suffocating to me.
Yeah.
Because the core of who I am is I'm the half glass full person by nature. So if I get in that depressed place, I can't breathe after a while. So I have to make a choice to do something that's effective, even if it's only for a second, to try to take myself just for a moment out of that place. And then try it again tomorrow, like you said, and make a choice to do it again
Yep. Absolutely.
consistently until I can baby step out. And Paranormal Witch says, I'm depressed now. I don't know how to get out. Paranormal Witch, just like we said, you have to choose to take tiny steps out, little by little, and you have to consistently keep trying. You have to keep trying. And if you are in that state, you remember recently when I said to go to the doctor and make a request? Did you go to get, even if it's only temporary assistance to help you on top of making these choices each day? There is no shame in getting temporary help medically along with making life choices if it's to the point that you don't feel like you can help yourself. No shame.
There's no shame in that at all. No.
Mental health is very important.
Um, I'm the only person in my family who hasn't tried to commit suicide.
Wow.
Uh, everyone in my so I'm adopted. So my foster family, my dad, my two stepsisters, have all tried to kill themselves.
Wow.
Multiple times, by the way, which is interesting. Um, and you have to. You can't let your family or anyone else's negativity affect you, but it has been something that I have to struggle with because, yeah, it's very easy to get depressed because whenever I see them, I get depressed. And it's a situation where there's no accountability because they don't really want to remember what they did or how it was done or any of the aftermath. So it's a difficult situation. Happiness is definitely a fun struggle, I think, because at least you're looking forward to joy. I'm horrible at math, but the one thing I always enjoyed was that no matter how complicated the problem was, there was always a right answer.
Good
And
point.
and for me, I feel like happiness, if that's your goal, you do the work. Because no matter how bad, because everyone has their problems, just have to focus on the joy.
I mean, again, I used to turn the music on and express myself through dance. You know,
I know. Whatever you need to do. I mean, it could be ridiculous. It could be, anything. Just you have to I spray painted 3 Spocks today. Like, I'd be a ridiculous first date, but at least I'm myself.
Do anything to express yourself, to express your emotions, get creative, whatever it is that helps to get it out of your body.
Yeah, exactly.
It was dance for me, it was art for her. Maybe something else creative for you.
Anything that you can do creative, I think will help your soul. I know when I went to art school, there are 5 pillars. There's drama, music, dance, vocal, and art. But even just having a plant, like I planted my bok choy today, beautiful. Anything that you can do that's small that you're nurturing nurtures your soul.
Oh yeah, planting things helps. Animals help.
Absolutely, 100%. You nurture your soul when you help something else.
Yeah, when I would help, yeah, absolutely. Helping others always, always, always helps me. Makes my spirit feel full.
Yeah, that's why everyone loves your channel.
Aw, thank you so much, Vintage. I appreciate that so much.
Absolutely. Everyone that comes here, trust me, I mean, I feel like most of us may be broken. Well, all of us as human beings, I feel, are a little broken. But
Oh,
I think
that is absolutely true.
everyone that comes to your channel, I can feel the support in your community.
Well, thank you so much. I love that so much. Hopefully, my subscribers will pick up.
Oh, they will. Trust me. Affirmations.
Yes. But I love the love here. I love the support here. I I myself always feel better because of all of you guys when I come here. It's true. I mean, it's absolutely true. I'm sorry I didn't come Wednesday, but I had to make that choice.
I wondered about that. I was waiting for my Wednesday Dana, and I thought something was wrong.
I explained at the beginning. So if you didn't hear
No,
it,
I know. Sorry.
I don't wanna go bore
No, it's okay.
everybody in. But anyway, I love and appreciate I love and appreciate so much, Marzi. But anyway, it's MS related and my eye related. But I just want everybody to be able to have love, have peace, have support, have more healthy relationships because everybody deserves it. Everybody deserves love. They deserve friendships. They deserve partnerships that don't have chaos and drama and all the yuck in them. We are capable of having those things. We are capable of not being a statistic. People just need to be more self aware and maybe need to ask these 35 questions. We need to ask the right questions. We need to know what we need versus what we're lusting after or just wanting because it looks good and feels good. Right?
Yeah.
While we're falling, we need to be calling. We need to be calling with our SOS, knowing what we need. I mean, like, help me, baby. Know what I need. Don't impede my growth while I'm on the way. I gotta say, what you need. Tell me what you need. I'll tell you what I need, and we'll just go hand in hand along the way and not mess each other up. That's the way it should be. Like plants growing together, right? Have you seen
Yeah.
plants grow together and they'll intertwine if they have to, or they'll bend toward the sun if they have to. They give each other room and stuff. They make a way. Trees make a way.
You can't bend towards the winds of the tide.
Right. Trees will do things together to make a way for each other. People need to be smarter. And I'm putting it out there again. We're going to do the social experiment.
Oh, guinea pig.
for the
Oh.
35 questions. And Margie said she wanted to be a guinea pig too.
Oh, yay. Good. So it's not just me.
No. I think it will be super, super fun.
I think it's going to be awesome.
I think it will be something that we haven't actually seen where real people are doing it here on the net and not just a recording.
What are the 35 questions?
They're going to be different sets.
Yeah, but as someone who likes to study before an exam, like, is there
Nope.
something I should, like, read or,
No.
like, do I need to, like, take a soul trip or
Nope.
not even a hint? Are you serious?
I already gave you an example.
Well, because I have the book of questions, so I was just, wondering.
Only you, Vintage. You would be prepared in that way.
I was just, I don't know if you noticed, like, I read a lot. Like, I've got a bunch of books, so yeah. So there's nothing I should read up on?
No, just be yourself.
I don't appreciate this.
You will.
I'll see about that. All right. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to say goodnight.
Good night. You are a jewel. I'm always so happy to see you.
And you're serious? You're not going to even give me, like, is there anything, any suggestions? No, just be myself.
Just be yourself.
Ugh.
You are worthy and you are enough.
Really? Because I think I'm borderline ridiculous, but okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye. Well, anyway, I'm so happy that you are all here. I do feel better. I'm in better spirits as well. I adore all of you. I can't wait to do this social experiment. I am determined to make it happen. I think it will be fun, and I think it will be super, and I think it will be, let me think. I just think it will be something that we'll probably end up doing again after that. We may end up having a match out of it. I just don't know. If you're watching this later and you hear me here on Dear Dana and you want to be part of the 35 question social experiment on compatibility to be a match for either male or female, DM me on Dear Dana 3 on Instagram or drop me a comment below. Of course, like and subscribe or share me. But we're going to do the social experiment in June on a Saturday. I don't have a specific date yet, but I want to line up the partners. It'll be 35 questions of compatibility. You'll ask one another on the live. Don't worry, don't stress. And we'll see if you're compatible. If you're compatible after this, it's up to you whether you want to take it off the channel, off the show, and do anything with it, stay in contact. Completely up to you. It's just about learning about compatibility, short of, passion and chemistry that get people in trouble with their relationships. You'll learn something. If you're single, you'll learn something, and you'll be able to have a healthier relationship moving forward in the future when you're out there looking. And chances are you won't end up in divorce. That's my hope. I am so very happy that you tuned in and that you came to my show. Please like, subscribe, and share. It really, really helps me. I'm hoping to have a community tab so that we can communicate with each other when the show's not rolling live. It really supports me and this community. I appreciate you so very much. I love you so much. Please don't hesitate to drop a comment below if you have a problem that you would like for me to give you advice on on my show. That's what I'm here for too. And I'll do that on my next live. All I have to say is, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you so much. And remember, your vibe attracts your tribe. Thank you. Bye, guys. Love you. I appreciate you too. Till next time. And we're out. And here we go. If I can find it. Yes. Bye.